Hey there, sports fans. How are we doing? I'm very well, thank you. Welcome to 10 Yards Back with this, my prediction video for round 3 of the Betfred Super League. So in these prediction videos, I'm going to highlight my top game of each day of the weekend and give you my thoughts, musings, ideas on how I think the team should be selected, how I think they're going to play, and ultimately what I think the score is going to be. Now, Thursday night sees Wigan host Leigh at the Brick Community Stadium, the Battle of the Borough. This game cannot disappoint. I don't think there's any way this can disappoint, because even if one of these teams gets battered, that will still be a spectacle in itself. So Thursday night, 8 o'clock, get yourselves on the couch, get yourselves a tinny if you're so inclined, and watch this game. Interestingly, we're in round 3 now, and I actually think the fixtures of the week on all 3 rounds have been on a Thursday. You know, we had that opening game, Hull KR versus the Knights, which was a shock, you know, the shock of the year, World Cup Challenge, and now this, the Battle of the Borough on Thursday night. If we look at the teams individually, how they sort of stack up against each other stats-wise, both have played 2 games, so we're a completely even playing field here. Wigan are kind of dominating these stats. You know, they've conceded less, they've scored more, they've ran more meters by quite a margin, and they're converting better. However, if you look at the opponents that Wigan have faced in the past 2 weeks, we've had, Castleford and Hull FC. Now, with all due respect to those teams, they ain't Leeds and Saints, are they? And this is new Saints as well, not last year's diet bullshit. So Leigh have had by far the tougher run, and have really, really, really run their blood to water in both of those games. So you have to take that into consideration. Wigan these days are kind of a bit of a lumbering giant now. Whether they're just playing with their food because they can, you know, waiting for the opposition to kind of bow out and close down. Yeah, maybe that's true. Leigh, however, they're chomping at the bit, aren't they? They are just hitting straight out of the stocks, the jocks, I don't know. Straight out of the gate. That's what I was looking for. The gate, everyone. Straight out of the gate with that attacking style. I saw them last week against Saints, and it's very different seeing a team on a field compared to on TV. You get to see how they shape up in defence, in attack, what they do when they're close to their line, how they apply pressure. And Leigh, to me, last week were very impressive, just in the way that they could move the ball. It seemed like wherever they wanted it to go, it went. So let's bear that in mind as we travel through this prediction. This is how I think the teams should look in this game. Now, I don't know if they will. So the way I see this, right, both teams have really powerful, agile forwards. You know, you've got Luke Thompson, Ethan Havard. They're really good at poking through a defence. They're also big in defence. They can put the bumpers up and hit a line and cause trouble. So can Mulhern, Trout, Offingawe, Jack Hughes can do the same. Leigh's forwards, however, are a little bit more agile than Wigan's, and I've said this in the past. I mean, Owen Trout, for example, I think he's been given the number 12 shirt this year, so he's not even playing at prop officially anymore. But I think that's where he does a real good number. Wigan's weakness these days comes around that number 4 position, around the centre position. Jake Wardle's out, right? Last week, they had Liam Farrell subbing in for him. Now, they've got Jack Farrimond sat on the bench, sat somewhere. I think in this game, they need to put some young, agile fella out there on the wing, because look who he's lined up. He's lined up against Myla Hanley and Tessie New. Josh Charnley and Ennis Senior. These guys are incredibly fast, incredibly strong. You kind of need a young, creative brain there. Liam Farrell is amazing at wriggling through a line, finding a gap and exploiting it. I think they need someone a little bit more defensively minded in that gap now, and a little bit who can read the ball a little bit more. When it comes down to it, I think that sort of, I mean, I'm putting a lot on that weakness, right? I'm putting a lot on that Jake Wardle absence and that sort of question mark they've got there. Coupling that with the sort of lumbering attack they've had over the past couple of weekends, I think that we're going to get caught cold a little bit here. And Lachlan Lamb, Edwin Ipape, and those wings and centres that I just mentioned, they're going to chew up the meters, they're going to get down to the line, and there's going to be a lot of crashing over. I don't think there'll be too many like runaway line break tries, but I just think that Leigh here have got the real upper advantage. The last time they played each other in the semi-final, I think the better team lost. I think that Wigan capitalised better, and Leigh are going to remember that, and they're going to want revenge for it. So that's my Friday night predictions for the Brick Community Stadium. What do you think, Wigan or Leigh? Let me know.